Imagine a 30-ton military machine that glides through the ocean with no engine, no crew, and zero fuel for months at a time. It's so silent, it just rendered China's billion-dollar underwater detection network completely useless. The US Navy just quietly tested this in the Pacific, and Beijing's commanders are scrambling. It's called the Manta Ray. And it's not just a new drone, it's the exact weapon China never prepared for. Here is how this ghost submarine just changed the future of naval warfare forever. The ocean covers most of this planet, and for a very long time, the country that controlled what was beneath it held a military edge. American sailors have served in submarines, protecting this nation's interests in the deepest corners of the sea. But here's the problem. The Pacific has become the most strategically important military region in the world, and underwater awareness is critical in modern naval competition. China understands this better than anyone, which is why Beijing has spent years building a naval force designed to challenge American power projection. Their entire strategy is built around one goal: keeping U.S. forces away from Taiwan and the surrounding waters. Traditional submarines are incredible machines, but they come with serious limitations. Each costs billions, takes years to build, needs more than 100 highly trained sailors, and demands constant maintenance. The United States simply cannot build enough to cover every corner of the Pacific. China knows this and has banked on the US Navy being stretched thin, unable to be everywhere at once. Military planners faced a difficult challenge: expanding undersea coverage without proportionally increasing manpower, costs, and risks. But this is where things get interesting, because what DARPA built next doesn't even look or act like a submarine. It looks like a silent monster from the deep. What exactly is this thing? The Manta Ray is an extra-large, uncrewed underwater vehicle built by Northrop Grumman under a program run by DARPA, the research branch of the U.S. Department of Defense. These are the same people who helped create the Internet and GPS. When DARPA builds something, the world pays attention. The Manta Ray stretches roughly 45 feet and weighs over 30 tons. It is shaped exactly like the ocean creature it is named after: wide, flat, and built for silent movement through water. In early 2024, this machine completed full-scale sea trials off the coast of Southern California. It dove, surfaced, turned, hovered. It anchored itself to the ocean floor, and it did several of those things completely on its own, with no human operator at a control panel. DARPA's program manager said the tests validated the vehicle's readiness for real-world operations. That is not a research project anymore. That is a weapon getting ready. But what makes the Manta Ray truly stand out is not its appearance or size. It is the design philosophy behind it. Removing the crew changes everything. Without the need to support human life, engineers can focus entirely on endurance and mission capability in ways that are simply not possible with crewed submarines. But the real genius of this vehicle is not just what it is how it actually moves. If you're proud of American innovation like this, write "proud" in the comments. Most submarines use propellers driven by powerful engines. Even the quietest ones produce vibrations that specialized sonar systems can detect. China has spent decades building underwater listening networks across the Pacific specifically to catch American submarines, but the Manta Ray does not work that way at all. It uses buoyancy-driven propulsion. Here is what that means. The vehicle pumps water in and out of its body to control its weight. When it gets heavier, it sinks, and as it sinks, it glides forward. When it gets lighter, it rises, and again, it glides forward. No engine running, not even a propeller spinning. Keeping autonomous systems operational for long periods has historically been a challenge. The Manta Ray solves this through its efficient design. It glides using a fraction of the energy that traditional submarines require, meaning it can stay on station for weeks or even months without returning to port. But there is another reason this vehicle is so difficult to track. It generates fewer detectable signatures than conventional platforms. China's detection networks were built to find engines and propellers. The Manta Ray gives them almost nothing to lock onto. Now combine that near-silent operation with the vehicle's ability to generate its own energy. The Manta Ray can anchor itself to the seafloor and hibernate, waking only when needed. A machine that can wait indefinitely, reposition, then go dark again, represents a fundamentally different kind of persistent presence. Endurance and stealth together create a platform capable of remaining in strategic areas without ever being detected. But what can it actually do once it gets there? Understanding how the Manta Ray moves and stays hidden is important, but what it can actually do reveals its true value. The vehicle has a large payload bay carrying substantial equipment, advanced sensors that map the ocean floor, surveillance systems tracking enemy submarines, communications gear keeping U.S. forces connected, decoys confusing enemy sonar, smaller drones released mid-mission to cover more ground. Think of it less like a single weapon and more like an underwater mothership. These systems enable persistent surveillance, intelligence gathering, and environmental mapping. Long-duration presence in strategic regions influences military planning. The payload flexibility means the platform adapts to different mission requirements. Systems like the Manta Ray expand the Navy's ability to monitor activity beneath the surface without continuously relying on crewed submarines. One of the smartest design decisions was building the Manta Ray in modular sections. Each section fits inside a standard shipping container. Load them onto a cargo plane, fly them anywhere, and a small team reassembles the entire vehicle on the dock. No specialized facilities required. This means the U.S. military could deploy these vehicles almost anywhere within days. The onboard intelligence makes real-time decisions without waiting for human input, critical in contested waters where communication may be disrupted. But what does this really mean for China's carefully constructed strategy? China has spent years and billions of dollars building a massive sensor network stretching from space to the seabed. But because the Manta Ray glides silently using buoyancy, it creates a direct structural mismatch that Chinese planners never anticipated. This means that Beijing's multi-billion-dollar anti-access zones in the South China Sea are suddenly operating almost blind. Autonomous systems like the Manta Ray change the entire equation. A crewed submarine costs billions and takes years to build. The Manta Ray costs less, builds faster, and needs no crew. Remove the crew, and you remove the need for life support, sleeping quarters, and food storage. You can deploy more of them. You can send them into waters too dangerous for crewed vessels. You can keep them on station for months without worrying about crew fatigue. Military planners view large numbers of autonomous platforms as force multipliers across a vast region like the Pacific.